Our witness this morning is Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Chrystia Freeland. Good morning, Minister Freeland.
Good morning, Ms. Chaudhry.
So will the witness be sworn or affirmed?
Madam Deputy Prime Minister, will you swear on a religious document or do you wish to affirm?
On a religious document.
We have the Bible, the Quran, or the Torah available.
I have my Bible.
For the record, please state your
I
full name and spell it
have
out.
my Bible.
My name is Chrystia Freeland. C-H-R-Y.
I'm having trouble hearing.
Is Chrystia Freeland.
Chrystia?
Is Chrystia Freeland. C-H-R-Y-S-T-I-A.
Not trying to make fun of her name.
F-R-E-E-L-A-N-D.
Or do you wish to affirm?
On a religious
A religious document.
We
Oh,
have
okay.
the Bible, the Quran, or the Torah available.
I have my Bible.
I have
For
my
the record,
Bible.
please state your
I have my Bible. Not I'll swear on a Bible. I'll take the Bible. Chrystia Freeland, apparently, I never knew this, is such a woman of God. She will not just swear on any Bible. She apparently walks around with her own personal Bible. Oh, how am I doing? I'm back. I'm cranky. She's such a woman of God. She has her own Bible. Now, I may not know a lot of things about religion or religious people. I wonder how many people actually walk around with their own Bible. The reason why the Gideon's Bible is in hotel rooms is because people travel and they don't have their Bible sometimes. And Gideon's wanted to have their Bible everywhere. I say that without judgment. I have no problem with a Gideon's Bible in it. Hold on one second. But Chrystia Freeland, God, come on. A woman who's part of an administration, well, I should say a person, gender absolutely irrelevant here, but she's a woman. A woman who is part of an administration, Justin Trudeau's administration, that has overtaken God. Imagine this. I mean, it's actually enraging. I was told yesterday, take deep breaths, calm down, we'll get into it. An administration, a regime, I will call it, that has shut down churches, that has seen the biggest spate of church vandalism, church burnings in Canada's history, that has locked up pastors, arrested pastors, forbidden church services while they have BLM protests in Toronto. She's swearing not just on the Bible, my Bible. I walk around with my own Bible while I shut down churches and lock up pastors. It's virtue signaling to the highest. It's a subtle thing. It enraged me. I was like, oh, okay. Is she going to have the audacity to swear on the Bible at large? No. Apparently, she's such a woman of God. She brought her own Bible, my Bible. Artur Pawlowski, sorry, you go to jail, sir. James Coates, sorry, you go to jail. I know that I'm missing two other pastors who also got locked up. Oh, no. My Bible. I believe in God. See, there's a lot of jokes. There's a lot of jokes here. I'm not your buddy guy says her Bible is probably Klaus Schwab's book, COVID-19, The Great Reset. I don't think that was one of the options. I think that goes without saying. You open it up and it's like the Fourth Industrial Revolution right underneath the Holy Bible. So anyways, Chrystia Freeland is testifying today in what is I think the word is penultimate day of the inquiry. Tomorrow is the last day of the Emergencies Act inquiry. Thus far, Justin Trudeau is on the schedule. Let me see what the schedule is. Trudeau is on the schedule. Will he testify? Let's see in the next episode of The Downfall of Canada. So we got Chrystia Freeland. Then this afternoon, it's Katie Telford, Brian Clow, and John Broadhead. And then it's Justin Trudeau. Last on the witness list, will he testify? Will he show up? Or will he find another reason to miss it? I predicted he'll miss it. I think I'm going to be wrong on that prediction. It was sort of more like a dare than a prediction. I said he'll miss it because he's a coward. It'll be too much for him to miss it. But who knows? Maybe he'll get COVID again. God forbid. I'm not wishing ill on anybody. Hope your blood pressure pills. Hope you took your blood pressure pills. My blood pressure was actually pretty good. It was a little high yesterday, but that was probably only because I was in agonizing pain. Okay, so let's talk about this. But before we do, I have two sponsors for today's video. Before we do, I'm going to talk about one sponsor that I'm probably not doing enough of: drinking water, having balanced meals, eating, regular intervals throughout the day, and taking deep breaths down to the diaphragm. I'm probably not doing that as much as I should. I know what I do well and I know what I do badly. And to some extent, I might like my bad habits until they land me in the ER because of some... Let's get to good habits. Field of Greens is today's sponsor. One of two sponsors today. Field of Greens makes powdered greens. 1 spoonful of desiccated greens. Not defecated, but that's going to come up at some point. Desiccated greens. It's a food. Powdered fruits and vegetables. People don't know this, but you're supposed to have 5 to 6 servings of vegetables a day, and most people don't have them. I have them, but I just happen to have my 5 or 6 servings of vegetables in one sitting at 10 o'clock at night, 20 minutes before going to bed. None of it's healthy. But Field of Greens is healthy. 1 spoonful is 1 serving of fruits and vegetables. Antioxidants, let me just read off the back so I don't mess anything. Full of a full serving of vegetables, full serving of fruits, antioxidant power, boosted immunity. It's a food, not a supplement, not an extract. USDA organic certified, made in America, which I like. And I have this as part of my daily habits, but I have a lot of bad habits as well. But anyhow, set that aside. Good habits, fieldofgreens.com. They have a Black Friday week special, 30% off everything with the promo code HEALTH. So the website, fieldofgreens.com, brings you to Brickhouse Nutrition, which is the company. Powdered greens, a spoonful twice a day with a glass of water, healthy habits, keeps you hydrated, keeps you fluid full, keeps you with antioxidants, fruits, vegetables, all the good stuff. Healthy habits. Life is a question of habits, and you have to substitute the healthy ones for the unhealthy ones. Fieldofgreens.com, promo code HEALTH this week and this week only, 30% off everything for Thanksgiving. And I will be giving thanks sooner than later. So what happens? Just get the update out of the way. I wake up at 4 a.m. yesterday with the most excruciating pains in my stomach that I've ever had. I'll get to that in a second. I don't know what that means. With the most excruciating stomach pains I've ever had. And I said, oh, it's food poisoning from the meal we had last night. I won't name the restaurant because it had nothing to do with it. Except I'm not vomiting. There's nothing coming up or out. And so I'm sitting there trying to find a comfortable position, and it's getting worse and worse. And I'm shivering, I'm sweating, I'm moaning. My wife has not yet woken up. Apparently I wasn't moaning loud enough. And after about 2 hours of this, I finally moan loud enough so that my wife wakes up and says, what's going on? And I tell her, I don't want to go to the ER. I don't like hospitals. Nobody likes hospitals. It gets to be so excruciating. I'm like seeing blurry. It's like giving birth to a baby. I've had 3 moments of pain in my life. Testicular torsion, which feels like you're getting kicked in the nads over and over again, relentlessly, up into systemic pain is what I call it. Testicular torsion, which happened to me more than once until the surgery. Rubber band ligation procedure, the recovery time is what was the most agonizing thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. And this 3 moments of excruciating pain. It's systemic. You can't dissociate your body from the pain. So after a while, we said it's either kidney stones, obstructed bowels. I don't know what else it could be. I have my delusional thoughts in my head because I literally the day before watched Died Suddenly. And I'm sitting here saying, that's great. I'm going to die suddenly the day after having watched Died Suddenly and done a documentary review on Died Suddenly. I was like, nah, I'm 14 plus months out of my second and last jippy jab, August of last year. It's not possible. Then it doesn't matter. I get to the ER, can't breathe, can't stand up, hunched over, wheeled in, sitting in there for hours. CT scan, blood work, urine work, some indications of things, but nothing serious, except they suspect a potential partial obstruction. I was like, oh, at least so guy comes in and says, might be a partial obstruction. Surgeon's going to come down in a bit, talk to you about your options. Maybe we send you back. Maybe it resolves on its own, or you have surgery. I was like, oh. Then I start Googling the surgery, and then I start crying, crying because it's been 8 hours of pain, 6 hours of pain, crying because surgery for even a partial obstruction is no fun game here. And I'm like, then I see my life flash before my eyes. That's it. I'm going to go. They're asking, there's, I'm being asked, how could you get a partial obstruction? You haven't had surgery on your stomach. You've had surgery on your nads, on a hernia, whatever. I was like, I don't know. Then I'm Googling the surgery for total obstruction of the bowels or partial. That's what causes obstruction of the bowels. So I was like, oh. So then anyhow, I'm there, excruciating pain for hours. They give some ibuprofen painkiller, does nothing. Then they gave me Dilaudid, which I don't want to take again because I don't like those things, which it's a ridiculous thing. You know, the moment that they inject Dilaudid into the IV, you know, the moment it goes in. And total relaxation, but to the point where your breathing gets shallow and your blood oxygen goes below 90. And so the punchline, the spoiler alert, it seems to have been a partial obstruction, potentially, according to at least one of the people that passed. And I mean, it passed where like it's 6.5 hours of excruciating, sweating, shivering, hunched over pain. And then it's like, I gave birth to a baby, but nothing happened. There was no birth. There was no poo-poo either, for those who are asking. But that was it. It was like it was about 2:30 in the afternoon it happened, where I had been in the ER since 7 o'clock in the morning. And that was it. Now then you feel like an idiot. Like you're like, I don't want to feel stupid for having gone here. But then you're like, please let me be stupid, because the alternative is, anyways, bottom line, my parents are here from town. We're going to celebrate Thanksgiving tonight. They were watching the kids all day. So, even in misfortune, we had good fortune. My daughter's best friends came in from Canada to celebrate Thanksgiving with us. I was out of the hospital in time to welcome them into the house in the evening. Genuine thanks for everyone who's, wishing well on the internet. I didn't want to put out a tweet that like, I'm in the hospital. I don't want people rumoring. But I was going to miss the entire day and couldn't get the stream up even for the Canadians Emergencies Act in Korea. And I felt like I had to let people know. And then also know that, if I go to the hospital and something happens, if the ill wishes on the interwebs, if it were something that they could say, oh, look, the big talking critic got his comeuppance. I was like, yeah, this is anyhow. I said to my wife, I feel stupid. We wasted an entire day and haven't gotten the bill yet, but we'll see. And she says, you wasted a day. You've saved weeks. The way this turned out, first of all, I have to go see a gastroenterologist just to take care of some things. So we're going to figure out what to do so that this never happens again. But a new lease on the next 2 weeks and a new lease on life. And a genuine thanks, to the powers that be, that the hospital is not a pleasant place to be. And there are people in the hospital who are going to be there for a while. And there are people in the hospital who are there alone. They don't have their wonderful spouse, lying in bed with them while they moan and groan, patting their belly. But we'll see. $50,000. It's not going to be $50,000, but we'll see. The bill is in the mail. So anyways, that's what happened yesterday. Thank you all for the well wishes and genuine Thanksgiving on this Thanksgiving Day. Life just puddles along until it doesn't anymore. We'll get to the little bit too much colonoscopy. I had a colonoscopy enough years ago that it's still valid and everything was clear, but it might be time to do another one. Everything looked good other than an apparent potential partial obstruction. Everything else looked good. Blood work showed some stuff, but I'm going to go see a GI anyhow. Should probably, I have IBS. I have, I've had a history of torsion, testicular torsion. What's the other one? Inguinal hernia. I'm back. Let's get this done now. All right. So what happened in the meantime? First of all, the Canadian Emergencies Act inquiry is ongoing. It's the second to last day. We've got Chrystia Freeland, the Deputy Minister of Finance, testifying right now. I'm seeing her on my second computer. Rubbish. It's going to be chief examination and then cross. Nothing will be of interest until her cross. we're going to get to it because I'm not going to live stream commentate lob ball, softball questions to the deputy minister to justify everything she ever did. But I'm going to play a few highlights from the last couple of days now. Thank you very much, everybody. It's scary how fast everything can just change. And then you're like, okay, I haven't done what I came here to do. I don't know what I came here to do. I just know that I haven't done it yet. But I suspect everybody says the same thing at the end of the day. I had something similar about 6 months ago. I hope you feel better and they figure this out. Anyway, love you, brother. Thank you very much, Couch. And there was one more star that I put up here. Buckle brush. Greens good for diverculitis. Put me down in ER yesterday also. Buckle brush, I read that. So I did not have diverculitis, nor was it visible kidney stones. Anyway, but whatever. It's like, yeah, Sassy, let me just say this. I had dinner with my father the night before, and we're talking about neuroses, and I'm talking about all my fears. And he's like, David, you're built like an ox. You're going to be healthy. And then I'm sitting there the next day. I was like, my God, my dad's going to feel terrible if something terrible happens. I will be fine. This too shall pass. No pun intended. Okay. But over the last 2 days of the Emergencies Act inquiry, Minister of Transport, Omar Al-Ghabra, has testified. Omar Al-Ghabra, my daughter knows this, has ruined algebra for me. My daughter's learning algebra. Every time we talk about algebra, she says, I have algebra homework. And I say, oh yeah, what Omar Al-Ghabra homework do you have? The minute Omar Al-Ghabra is the Minister of Transport, the guy who laughed in the face of reporters asking him, I have to pull that up. I have to pull that up before we can even do this, before we can get to the highlight. Let me see here. Viva Frei, Omar Al-Ghabra, psychotic Twitter. Hold on. Let me just see. You've got to see this. You've got to see this. Omar Al-Ghabra refuses to answer. This will let you know who you're dealing with. Yeah, I think I found the tweets. Yep, I found the tweet from Rebel News. Hold on, people. Just so you know who we're dealing with when it comes to Omar Al-Ghabra and the government for that matter. This is Omar Al-Ghabra.
How are you?
His job is to represent the people of Canada, not the people he agrees with, not the people he likes, not the people he chooses to represent. He is supposed to represent all Canadians, those who voted for him and those who despise him. Being asked a question by, I'll get the name of the reporter from Rebel News. Look at this. This is Omar Al-Ghabra before we get into the highlights.
Mr. Al-Ghabra, yesterday Conservatives brought forward a motion to denounce the threatening tweets of an accredited journalist. Why did some Liberals say nay to that?
How are you today?
How are you?
Do you not care about the safety of politicians in the House of Commons?
How are you today?
I'm great. How about you? Are you able to answer our question?
I'm enjoying this walk.
Why do you refuse to denounce
I am enjoying
journalists that
this walk.
threat
It's like he's not all there in the head.
a conservative politician?
Are you doing well?
Are you able to answer our question, or is that just not in your mandate? You know, conservatives always answer our question. Why can't you do that?
I'm glad you're doing well.
This is an act of aggression. I don't care. You know, the Ottawa residents want to talk about microaggressions. This is a maxo microaggression. This is I spit in your face.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for you, and I wish you success in your career.
What changed in the science
Just
between?
so you understand, this is not a CEO of a private company. This is not a man who's been accused of a crime and who's like you're walking from his house to the court. This is an elected member of parliament.
Now and in 2 days in terms of lifting the arrive cap, or was it just political science?
Oh, you took your glasses off.
What?
You took your glasses off.
Yeah.
That's good.
So are you able to answer? You're not able. Is it intelligence or just you don't want to?
This is our government.
All right. Last question from me. You know, you always talk about affordability, or Liberal parties say they want to fight for affordability. Yet you're planning on raising the taxes and on continuing the carbon tax. Why won't you cut the taxes?
Watch this. Have a nice day.
Why won't you
Hi,
cut the
hi,
taxes?
guys, hi. I spit in your
Raising the
faces.
taxes. I'm
I laugh
continuing
at you.
the
I
carbon
laugh at your
tax.
suffering.
Why
I
won't
laugh
you
at
cut
your
the
misery.
taxes?
Watch this. Have a nice day.
Here, right here.
Why won't you cut
There
the
you go.
taxes?
Hi, Mom. This is our government. This man testified. It wasn't yesterday. It was the day before yesterday. That is enough to make you want to puke. No, I didn't mean to bring that one up. I wanted to bring this one up. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. I will give thanks that I am not Omar Al-Ghabra. I will give thanks that Omar Al-Ghabra, in all of his in-your-face, laughing at your misery, is making people appreciative for good people on this earth. Mockery. It's mockery of your suffering. So Omar Al-Ghabra is up there testifying, and by the way, Christopher Phelan today is testifying to the same effect, that they knew that they caused destruction to Canada's supply chain through their response to the COVID pandemic. And it was such a serious compromise of Canada's global supply chain as a result of their policy that it became ever increasing, I guess is the logical argument, when the protesters blockaded the Ambassador Bridge. Well, it had been 2 years of the government screwing with Canada's supply chains, 2 days of protesters doing it to express their discontent with the government. That was too much. Chrystia Freeland, this morning in her intro monologue, talks about how... Oh, hold on. Why do I hear myself talking? Stop it. She talks about how it was devastating. We had been through the worst 2 years ever. Listen to this. But we could do it for 2 years, but you can't protest about it.
First of all, let me maybe
for
even
2
set
weeks.
the broader context. Our supply chains have been going through a lot of disruptions because of COVID, mostly COVID measures.
By the way,
with lockdown.
He said the quiet part out loud, at least. He speaks the truth by accident, not because of COVID, because of COVID measures. COVID did not cause distress in our youth. COVID is not causing increased ideations of self-harm in our youth. COVID did not make people die in solitary confinement. COVID responses by a reckless, thoughtless government did it. Thank you for admitting that much, at least.
With border restrictions that had an impact on our economy and on our supply chains. So it was really critical for me personally and for our government to keep monitoring our supply chain and the health of our supply chain. And in fact, one of the rationale that we believed the vaccine mandate would be good for our supply chain is to protect the health and safety of the workers in the supply chains.
There's a level of stupidity here that only government is capable of. What did he just say? Some people are going to know where I'm going with this, and it just occurred to me now. He's testifying to the fact that throughout COVID, there were real problems, real damage was done to our supply chain because of COVID measures implemented by the government. What does he think the solution to that? We thought by implementing different measures, we would resolve the problems that we caused ourselves to the supply chain through our prior measures. These idiots in government think that they cause a problem and they're going to be the solution to the problem that they caused. Let's just do this one more time.
So first of all, let me maybe even set the broader context.
Yeah, set the broader context,
Our
Omar.
Supply chains have been
decimated
going through a lot of disruptions
devastated,
because of
destroyed.
COVID, mostly COVID measures.
COVID measures
with
that we
lockdowns,
designed
with
and
border
implemented.
Restrictions that had an impact on our economy and on our supply chain.
What's the solution to that? We
So
thought
it
this
was
time,
really
this time
critical,
we'll get it right.
For me personally and for our government to keep monitoring.
Keep monitoring the damage we're doing.
Our supply chain and the health of our supply chain. And in fact, one of the rationale that we believed the vaccine mandate would be good for our supply chain is to protect the health and safety of the workers in the supply chain.
We shut down the border, which hurt our supply chain. We imposed vaccine passports, which hurt our supply chain. We locked down people. We shut down the economy, which hurt our supply chain. But this time we've got it figured out, people. We're going to impose a vaccine mandate on truckers, perhaps the most isolating? You know what I'm talking about. This is Ezra Levant's joke. The only job that has more isolation than a truck driver is a lighthouse operator. We thought, in our infinite wisdom, after having destroyed the supply chains and the economy for 2 years through our measures, let's make a vaccine mandate for truckers. That'll protect our supply chain. Idiots, liars, morons. And then when he gets asked a hard question by someone who's not state-funded commissioner lawyer, how are you doing? I'm glad you're okay. I wish you all of the best in your career. So anyways, that's what we're learning from our government. They broke the system. And then they said, after 2 years of us breaking the system, breaking your spirits, shutting down churches while Chrystia Freeland swears on her Bible, they thought they were going to solve the problem through more idiotic, unscientific, and most importantly, perhaps to a constitutionalist, unconstitutional and inhumane policy. Yeah, let's see here. So that's what's going on with Canada. Here, let me get a couple of super chats. You sure they didn't poke you? And now you'll be the first man that gives birth. Godspeed. So when they were injecting me with stuff, I was like, oh, that'd be fun. They did ask if I had been recently vaccinated or boosted, which was an encouraging question because it felt to me like maybe they were actually looking for adverse reactions. Dragon Slayer, you reminded me. And I'm thinking, okay, so when I go to the hospital, now I've died suddenly the day before. I'm like, okay, blood clots. I'm fine. I'm 14, 15 months out, it would be unlikely that it would be a blood clot. No medical advice, no nothing. Just unlikely that it would be any sort of a blood clot that might have been triggered by anything. Okay, then when you look up partially obstructed bowels and it says the development of fibrous materials in the bowels can cause an obstruction. Then I'm thinking to died suddenly, where they were talking about the clots, which were not blood clots, they were fibrous development clots that developed in the veins or the arteries that acted like a clot, even though they were not formed of blood. And I was like, holy crap, that's it. Something's been growing in my belly for the last 14 months, causing a partial obstruction. So, but anyhow, all that to say is I thought, oh, maybe they think they're going to jibby jab me while they do some other stuff, but no. And I was paying attention. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. J Mill. Those fish are just so damn beautiful. That is enough to make you take a deep breath. The softness, that looks like I keep forgetting, brook trout, brown trout, beautiful, beautiful fish. The most beautiful fish in the rivers. Yeah, calamari clots. Oh, I did a movie review on it. It's interesting. I want to get some of the embalmers, or at least one of them on the channel to talk about it. Yeah, the idea is something, and the way they described it in the movie, texture of calamari. I mean, I'm still going to eat calamari, but I'm going to be thinking of that scene from the movie whenever I do. All right. Before we move on to Rumble to continue the conversation, on the subject of why can't I find it? On the subject of hospitals and clean air. Sponsor number 2 for today's video. Another, by the way, I've been fortunate thus far to only sponsor products and companies that I actually use personally and work with. EnviroCleanse is another one. You get to the hospital and you can appreciate the difference between a good hospital and a bad hospital. Clean air, proper circulation. Same thing with a home, same thing with a school. Anybody who has ever needed a home air filtration system knows, A, they're not cheap, and if you're going to spend the money, don't buy a crappy one. EnviroCleanse, home air purification, it's a system, people. When they throw in the word system, you know it's more than just a little dingy filtration thing. It's got a beautiful fat HEPA filter in it, but it's got patented technology in their air purification filter, which is different than the HEPA filter. I don't understand the technology, but I did spend a half an hour on the company with them explaining it. They have an additional filter with patented technology that neutralizes bacteria, odors. They call them VOCs, volatile organic compounds, things like that. It neutralizes bacteria, germs, odors, used by the Department of Defense. So I think we can conclude that it's got to be reasonably good. Where did it say it here? There's a reason the U.S. Navy chose to equip their ships with EnviroCleanse. Some of this information was not disclosed to me because it's confidential, but this is public. Used by the Department of Defense, it's in over 300,000 classrooms across the United States. My ongoing joke is I'd like to get it in 300,000 classrooms in Canada, if there are that many classrooms. Patented EnviroCleanse air cartridge is the word. It will reduce the potential of getting sick during flu season. Stops COVID flu, colds from spreading aboard their ships and subs. Neutralizes bacteria. It's a beautiful, snazzy looking white box that blends in if you have white walls. And I have one and I use one. We had one in Canada, not one of these, but a dingy piece of garbage. Didn't do much. If you have dogs, kids with allergies, kids with asthma, wonderful systems. ekpure.com, EnviroCleanse, ekpure.com. Promo code VIVA will get you 10% off the unit. It's expensive, but anybody who's ever bought one of these knows that there's a price range that they typically fit within. If you're going to invest in clean air, do it with a good one. There is 0% financing options if you're eligible. I don't know how that works exactly, but ekpure.com, promo code VIVA, you'll get 10% off the unit and a free air quality monitor, which will tell you that the system is working and will tell you if the air in your place is, odorful, unclean, dusty, whatever. It's whisper quiet. I feel like, it was Nick Riviera. It's whispered quiet, except it's actually whisper quiet. And if anybody needs one, you know that you need one. Don't waste $500 on a crappy one. Get a good one. ekpure.com. All the links to the two sponsors are in the pinned comment, the description. Thank you very much. And also thank you for sponsors for sponsoring the hinged, fringed minority holding unacceptable views in this world. It is an act of bravery, but it's good. All right, now, what do we want to do? Do we bring it over to Rumble right now? Let's bring it over to Rumble right now, and we're going to have some more fun over there. Oh, there's a $5 Rumble rant. Hold on a second. I almost missed it. Alex Woods Z, my dream. Tomorrow, first question from Miller to Trudeau. Sir, what is the Great Reset? Dude, I'll pass that recommendation on to somebody. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any other Rumble rants on Rumble. Okay, let's do it. Let's move over to Rumble. I'm going to be ducking out of here probably by noon at the latest because we're going to celebrate Thanksgiving by going to the beach. Oh, it was just no, not Rumble. Yeah, people, they're going through growing pains, but the one way to force evolution is to force evolution. People have some comments on the interface on mobile. They can't give Rumble rants on mobile. The chat runs a little more wild on Rumble. I've let Pavlovsky know about all these things, and they're working on it. But the way to force evolution is to force evolution. So let's go force evolution, people. We're going to go to Rumble right now. Here's the link one more time. Booyakasha. And I'll see you there. Viva's Canadian. I didn't think you celebrate Thanksgiving. Well, I'm in Florida now and in the States, but I'll tell you one thing. I'll celebrate American Thanksgiving and Canadian Thanksgiving. I think it's a good thing to take a deep breath and really, it's tough to give thanks for what you take, for that for which you take, it's tough to give thanks for that which you take for granted until, one split second you say, holy crap, it might not all be here tomorrow. Hell Radio Olives, happy Turkey Day, Viva. If we can get Musk to buy YouTube, would you do a whole stream? Elon Musk can't buy YouTube. That I don't know. I don't think he can. No, but anyways, I'm partial for Rumble because they've proven to walk the walk. Elon Musk, thus far, reluctant to bring Alex Jones back. Rumble, no, we're not reluctant. We'll have Alex Jones. We have Alex Jones. The French government comes to Rumble and says, take down RT, or we're going to boot you from our country, to which Pavlovsky and Rumble say, thank you very much for the recommendation, French regime, Macron. We don't listen to the government. We don't get told what we can say and what we can host by the government. You want to give us that ultimatum? Sorry, people in France, we're not going to be allowed to be aired in France. We're not taking down RT because one regime wants to take down the state-sponsored media of another regime. So with that said, let's do it. Moving over to Rumble. People, see you there in 3, 2, 1, and